out. I mean, it through everything. One, we're very grateful, if that's an appropriate word, but in the way that our uncle passed, even though it was sudden and unexpected. To our knowledge, Uncle Tony Lomma, as you know him, he lived on his own in Antioch, and he was very good friends with his neighbors, and he was extremely close with the neighbor's dog. And he used to let Sammy into his apartment multiple times a day, and he would feed him, play with him, and even let Sammy, stay in the apartment for hours at a time. So when Uncle was out feeding the squirrels at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he came back inside, Sammy wanted in the apartment. So for a couple of hours, he was at the door, and Sammy's owner realized that Tony wasn't letting him in. Joanne, his neighbor Joanne. So before too long, which was only about 2.5 hours later, the neighbors all knocked at the door and knocked at the windows, and he was unresponsive, so they decided to call 911 to have a home check done. So 911, because his screen door was locked and his regular door was open, but only a couple of inches, 911 was able to pry the screen door open and push the full door open, only to find Uncle Tony fell asleep in his favorite chair that he watched TV in the family room. When we were there the day or second day following, after everything took place, our first question to his neighbors was, when you first saw him, was he asleep or was his eyes open? Was there any look of distress on his face? And they said, nope, he was asleep, closed his eyes, gently put his head back on his chair, and was
on, and the TV was on.
Had his glasses on, his TV show was on, like NASCAR race, and that was it. So to our knowledge, he fell asleep peacefully, and he was taken in his sleep. So for that, we're grateful, and for that, we thank God, and we're happy that he did not suffer, and it wasn't, a traumatic event, a traumatic situation for him. A week before Uncle passed was Easter Sunday, and he spent Easter Sunday at mine and David's house on the water in Antioch. And Mom and Heather and Jennifer's dog Lily, which Uncle loved so much, was also in attendance for Easter Sunday. So Uncle got to spend time with family before he passed. My husband David took him, ironically, on a tour of our old subdivision. Before he arrived at our house, he asked to go down to the Rest Haven Beach. He asked to go see his parents' home on Rest Haven Avenue. So it was just a blessing, the time that we were able to spend together. And through the years, Uncle Tony was passionately known as Unc to our whole family, and I just want to thank you so much. Hi guys, welcome. You're totally fine, welcome. I just wanted to say one thank you to all of you for your love and support and showing up to honor Uncle. And I just wanted to put something together in his honor to show my love and support. Thank you.
That's my mommy. That's my mommy.
I wanted to briefly add, just in general, because I was giving a eulogy type speech with regards to my uncle. First of all, he was silly as he could be, and that everybody here knows that. I mean, his behavior was like that of a child on a regular basis, and I believe as a child growing up is what drew us so close to him. He was a goof, and we loved it, and he was growing, like as older he got, the older I got, and the older my siblings got, I think we realized he is just silly. And it just made him the character that he was, and he never failed to be that character. And to us, it was always the same guy, no matter what the circumstances were. And we loved him for it. He was genuine, and he was never, making believe that he was something else. It was always Unc. So I'm proud to be his niece, I'm proud of the man he was while he was here. He was good to people around him. He was good to our country. And that's all for tonight, and I really do thank you all for coming to be a part of this memorial.
Okay. Mom or Jen?
Tell me about Uncle Louie.
My uncle loved my dog a lot and would babysit her regularly.
You gotta all know, Lily, Jennifer's dog, is like her child. I mean, this dog couldn't be any closer if came out of her body. She wouldn't trust her dog with anybody.
But to sum up, on Easter, Uncle came over to Angela and David's and he got to spend time with everybody. Got to spend time with Lily, and I dropped him off that evening and I gave him a hug before he got out of my car, and I said, "I love you," and he said, "I love you," and then he gave my dog a hug, and I said, "I'll see you later, Uncle." And so I'm glad that at least we had that absolutely memory.
And I mean, you don't want me to go on, because I already talked to my cousin on the phone today, and I gave her my whole eulogy, and said, "You know what, Aunt, you need to kind of calm it down, because we could be here for like an hour and a half with me just going on." Because obviously my brother and I go back to way back when, and we were only a year and 10 days apart, but I was always like the nurture, the mom, kind of always watching out for him, always, all through our growing up years. And after he got a little bit older, he kind of learned to resent it a bit because, come on, sister, I could do my own life. And we had our times, good, bad, and indifferent, like all siblings do. But through it all, I was always loved, and he didn't, I don't know, it's just too hard to really get into too much. I just really want to express my love and thanks to everybody who took the time to come out and really pay respects. And Heather, I don't know if anybody knows, but Heather put a thing on Facebook or something, whatever we call it. I'm not too technology literate or whatever you call it. But because, we found out in the long run that there was no insurance and no funds. So we did the best we could with what we had to try and send my brother off with love and dignity. So this is kind of what it came to. And many people put something on this donation page or whatever it was. And I just want to say thank you to anybody who did that, and just for you people being here and your love and your support, my friends, my family. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. And thank you to the VFW for doing this for my brother.
I wanted to add two
Vietnam
quick
veterans
stories,
are,
okay? Just because these are also one extremely serious and very good, and the other extremely funny. So I'll start with the serious one. Because my brother Doug isn't here and he's sick right now. My brother Doug is Uncle Tony's godson.
oh yeah.
So my oldest brother Douglas, back when the family had the restaurant on 83, Tony and Lil's, he had a severe accident that caused him to lose his hand in the kitchen when he was just 4 years old. And that was before the restaurant was opening that evening, and they were preparing pizza sausage in the grinder, and that's where the accident happened. Well, 2 years ago for my mom's birthday, we all met at the restaurant, and David and I brought Uncle Tony home that night. And Uncle Tony replayed that story as if it just happened the night before, with such passion in his voice about how he took Douglas from the kitchen, from that scene, and rushed him into the front passenger seat of his, do you remember what vehicle it was?
It could have been the El Camino, it could have been, he had about, how many cars did he have in like 10 years? So he could have been the SS Super Sport, it could have been his dad.
He put his godson in the front seat of that vehicle and raced. At that time, Antioch had a trauma center all the way down Main Street, and he raced his 4-year-old godson down the road to get him first aid immediately before a paramedic or an ambulance could arrive to that scene. So with whether it be his knowledge from being a vet or being on scenes where there was distress and trauma, or just his instinct with love, he treated and was the first responder to Douglas's accident that night. That was a story that I just wanted people to know, because truly, as a godfather to my brother, he was his hero in that moment. And the other story that I wanted to quickly share was a more lighthearted one. When Heather and I were young women, like back in our early 20s, just for quick cash, we would decide to enter local bikini contests here around the waterfront. So one evening we decided, do you remember where we were? I believe we were at a bar next to Steitz's. It wasn't Steitz's, but it's been renamed 2 and 3 times. So we were on the water one Friday or Saturday evening. I said, there's a contest going on, I don't know whether it was Friday or Saturday. Grab your bikini, we're going to enter the swimsuit contest. So there was like $100 or $200 cash prize if you're gonna win this swimsuit contest. So Heather and I go, and we go sign up like that evening. Go sign up, and we're all ready, and we're with 5 and 6 other girls in this swimsuit contest, and actually one of them was Tracy Patterson too, because I remember her being very kind, like, oh my God, I know you girls. But anyway, so we're ready in the swimsuit contest, like you have to, you'll go and do a modeling strut and turn around and leave. Well, I get out on stage to go do the swimsuit strut, and who is out there as a judge? None other than Uncle Tony.
Yeah.
So Uncle Tony, as you can imagine, lit up with a totally bright pink face, and Heather and I were like, oh my Lord, it's Uncle Tony. And then we just waved or whatever. So at the end of that evening, even though there was probably like 7 or 8 ladies in that swimsuit contest, wouldn't you know who took first and second place?
That's pretty cool, because I didn't even know that one.
So anyway,
Things you try and keep from your mother, you know?
just a lighthearted story again. Thank you so much for coming out tonight and sharing your love and honor and respect towards Tony Lomma.
You're welcome.